The de Havilland Canada DHC-6 Twin Otter, currently marketed as the Viking Air DHC-6 Twin Otter, is a Canadian 19-passenger STOL utility aircraft developed by de Havilland Canada and currently produced by Viking Air. The aircraft's fixed tricycle undercarriage, STOL abilities and high rate of climb have made it a successful cargo, regional passenger airliner and Medevac aircraft. In addition, the Twin Otter has been popular with commercial skydiving operations, and is used by the United States Army Parachute Team and the United States Air Force's 98th Flying Training Squadron. Design and development. Development of the aircraft began in 1964, with the first flight on May 20, 1965. A twin-engine replacement for the single-engine DHC-3 Otter, retaining DHC's renowned STOL qualities. Design features included double-slotted trailing edge flaps and ailerons that work in unison with the flaps to boost STOL performance. The availability of the 550 shp Pratt & Whitney Canada PT6A2O turboprop in the early 1960s made the concept of a twin more feasible to bush operators. The improved reliability of turboprop power and the improved performance of a twin-engine configuration made it an immediately popular alternative to the piston-powered Otter, which had been flying since 1951. The first 6 aircraft produced were designated Series 1, indicating that they were prototype aircraft. The initial production run consisted of Series 100 aircraft, serial number 7 to 115 inclusive. In 1968, Series 200 production began with serial number 116. Changes made at the beginning of Series 200 production included improving the STOL performance, adding a longer nose that was equipped with a larger baggage compartment and fitting a larger door to the rear baggage compartment. All Series 100 and 200 aircraft and the variants were fitted with the 550 shaft horsepower PT6A2O engines. In 1969, the Series 300 was introduced, beginning with serial number 231. Both aircraft performance and payload were improved by fitting more powerful PT6A27 engines. This was a 680 horsepower engine that was flat-rated to 620 horsepower for use in the Series 300 Twin Otter. The Series 300 proved to be the most successful variant by far, with 614 Series 300 aircraft and the sub-variants sold before production in Toronto by de Havilland Canada ended in 1988. New production. After Series 300 production ended, the remaining tooling was purchased by Viking Air of Victoria, British Columbia, which manufactures replacement parts for all of the out-of-production de Havilland Canada aircraft. On February 24, 2006, Viking purchased the type certificates from Bombardier Aerospace for all the out-of-production de Havilland Canada aircraft. The ownership of the certificates gives Viking the exclusive right to manufacture new aircraft. On July 17, 2006, at the Farnborough Air Show, Viking Air announced its intention to offer a Series 400 Twin Otter. On April 2, 2007, Viking announced that, with 27 orders and options in hand, it was restarting production of the Twin Otter, equipped with more powerful Pratt & Whitney Canada PT6A34 engines. As of November 2007, 40 firm orders and 10 options had been taken and a new final assembly plant established in Calgary, Alberta. Zimex Aviation of Switzerland received the first new production aircraft, serial number 845, in July 2010. By mid-2014, Viking had built 55 new aircraft at its Calgary facility. The production rate as of summer 2014 was approximately 24 aircraft per year. In April 2015, Viking announced a reduction of the production rate to 18 aircraft per year. On June 17, 2015, Viking further announced a partnership with a Chinese firm, Rainwood Aviation Group. The group will purchase 50 aircraft and become the exclusive representatives for new Series 400 Twin Otters in China. Major changes introduced with the Series 400 include Honeywell Primus Apex fully integrated avionics, deletion of the AC electrical system, deletion of the beta backup system, modernization of the electrical and lighting systems, and use of composites for non-load-bearing structures such as doors. Operational history. Twin Otters could be delivered directly from the factory with floats, skis or tricycle landing gear fittings, making them adaptable bush planes for remote and northern areas. Areas including Canada and the United States saw much of the demand. Many Twin Otters still serve in the far north, but they can also be found in Africa, Australia, Asia, Antarctica and other regions where bush planes are the optimum means of travel. The versatility and maneuverability have made them popular in areas with difficult flying environments such as Papua New Guinea. In Norway, the Twin Otter paved the way for the network of short-field airports, connecting rural areas with larger towns. The Twin Otter showed outstanding reliability, and remained in service until 2000 on certain routes. Widerøe of Norway was, at one time, the world's largest operator of Twin Otters. During one period of its tenure in Norway, the Twin Otter fleet achieved over 96,000 cycles per year. A number of commuter airlines in the United States got the start by operating Twin Otters in scheduled passenger operations. Houston Metro Airlines constructed their own STOL port airstrip with a passenger terminal and maintenance hangar in Clear Lake City, Texas near the NASA Johnson Space Center. The Clear Lake City STOL port was specifically designed for Twin Otter operations. According to the February 1976 edition of the Official Airline Guide, Houston Metro operated 22 round-trip flights every weekday at this time between Clear Lake City and Houston Intercontinental Airport in a scheduled passenger airline shuttle operation. Houston Metro had agreements in place for connecting passenger feed services with Continental Airlines and Eastern Airlines at Houston Intercontinental, with this major airport having a dedicated STOL landing area at the time specifically for Twin Otter flight operations. The Clear Lake City STOL port is no longer in existence. The Walt Disney World Resort in Florida was also served with scheduled airline flights operated with Twin Otter aircraft. The Walt Disney World Airport, also known as the Lake Buena Vista STOL port, was a private airfield constructed by the Walt Disney Company with Twin Otter operations in mind. In the early 1970s, Shawnee Airlines operated scheduled Twin Otter flights between the Disney Resort and nearby Orlando Jetport as well as to Tampa International Airport. This service by Shawnee Airlines is mentioned in the Air Commuter section of the STOL 1972 Eastern Airlines system timetable as a connecting service to and from Eastern flights. This STOL airfield is no longer in use. Another commuter airline in the U.S., Rocky Mountain Airways, operated Twin Otters from the Lake County Airport in Leadville, CO. At an elevation of 9,927 feet above mean sea level, this airport is the highest airfield in the U.S. ever to have received scheduled passenger airline service, thus demonstrating the wide-ranging flight capabilities exhibited by the Twin Otter. Rocky Mountain Airways went on to become the worldwide launch customer for the larger, four-engined Havilland Canada DHC-7-7 STOL turboprop but continued to operate the Twin Otter as well. Larger airlines in the U.S. and Canada also flew Twin Otters. Alaska Airlines, the original Frontier Airlines and Viking Air Alaska, as well as Canada's first air, were air carriers that flew Boeing 727 jetliners as well as earlier versions of the Boeing 737 jetliner at the time. All four airlines also operated Twin Otter aircraft. Ozark Airlines was primarily a McDonnell Douglas DC-9 jetliner operator that also flew Twin Otters. South Pacific Island Airways flew Twin Otters as well as Boeing 707 jets. In addition, Canadian air carriers Pacific Western Airlines and Transair, both of which operated Boeing 737-200s, flew Twin Otter aircraft as well. Other Canadian airlines that flew Twin Otters included Time Air and Norcan Air, both of which also operated Fokker F-28 Fellowship passenger jets. Twin Otter aircraft were operated by commuter regional airlines on behalf of major air carrier partners and were painted in the liveries of such airlines as Continental Airlines, Eastern Airlines and British Airways, with these aircraft providing connecting feeder service for these respective major airlines in the past. In many cases, the excellent operating economics of the Twin Otter allowed airlines large and small to provide scheduled passenger flights to communities that most likely would otherwise never have received air service. Twin Otters are also a staple of Antarctic transportation. 4 Twin Otters are employed by the British Antarctic Survey on research and supply flights, and several are employed by the United States Antarctic Program via contract with Viking Air. On April 24, 2001, 2 Twin Otters performed the first winter flight to Amundsen Scott South Pole Station to perform a medical evacuation. On June 21, 2016, Viking Air's Twin Otters performed the third winter evacuation flight to Amundsen Scott South Pole Station to remove 2 people for medical reasons. The Argentine Air Force has used the Twin Otter in Antarctica since the 1970s, with at least one of them deployed year-round at Marambio Base. The Chilean Air Force has operated the type since 1980, usually having an example based at Presidente Frei Antarctic Base of the South Shetland Islands. As of August 2006, a total of 584 Twin Otter aircraft remain in service worldwide. Major operators include Libyan Arab Airlines, Maldivian Air Taxi, Trans-Maldivian Airways, Viking Air and Scenic Airlines. Some 115 airlines operate smaller numbers of the aircraft, including Yeti Airlines in Nepal, Malaysia Airlines, and in the United Kingdom the Flybe franchise operator Logan Air, which uses the aircraft to service the island of Barra in the Hebrides Islands. This daily scheduled service is unique as the aircraft lands on the beach and the schedule is partly influenced by the tide tables. Trials in Barra with heavier planes than the Twin Otter, like the short 360, failed because they sank in the sand. The Twin Otter is also used for landing at the world's shortest commercial runway on the Caribbean island of Saba, Netherlands, Antilles. Ontario's Ministry of Natural Resources is also a long-time operator of the Twin Otter. Transport Canada still owns 3 DHC-6 Twin Otter aircraft, but they now see very limited flying time, as the role in coastal surveillance has been assumed by a fleet of DHC-8s. The Twin Otter has been popular with commercial skydiving operations. It can carry up to 22 skydivers to over 17,000 feet. Presently, the Twin Otter is used in skydiving operations in many countries. The United States Air Force operates 3 Twin Otters for the United States Air Force Academy's skydiving team. On the 26th of April 2001, the first ever Air rescue during polar winter from the South Pole occurred with a ski-equipped Twin Otter operated by Viking Air. On September 25, 2008, the Series 400 technology demonstrator achieved power-on status in advance of an official rollout. First flight of the Series 400 technical demonstrator (CFDHT) took place October 1, 2008, at Victoria Airport. 2 days later, the aircraft departed Victoria for a ferry flight to Orlando, Florida, site of the 2008 National Business Aviation Association Conference and Exhibition. The first new-built Series 400 Twin Otter made its first flight on February 16, 2010, in Calgary, Alberta. Transport Canada presented Viking Air Limited with an amended DHC-6 type certificate including the Series 400 on July 21, 2010. 6 years after, in July 2016, 100 Series 400 have been delivered to 34 customers operating in 29 countries. Variants: DHC-6 Series 100 twin-engine STOL utility transport aircraft, powered by two 550 shp Pratt & Amp Whitney Canada PT6A20 turboprop engines. DHC-6 Series 110 variant of the Series 100 built to conform to BCAR. DHC-6 Series 200 improved version. DHC-6 Series 300 twin-engine STOL utility transport aircraft, powered by two 680 shp Pratt & Amp Whitney Canada PT6A27 turboprop engines. DHC-6 Series 300M multi-role military transport aircraft. 2 of these were produced as proof-of-concept demonstrators. Both have since been reverted to Series 300 conformity. DHC-6 Series 310 variant of the Series 300 built to conform to BCAR. DHC-6 Series 320 variant of the Series 300 built to conform to Australian Civil Air Regulations. DHC-6 Series 300S, 6 demonstrator aircraft fitted with 11 seats, wing spoilers and an anti-skid braking system. All have since been reverted to Series 300 conformity. Viking Air production, first delivered in July 2010, powered by two Pratt & Amp Whitney Canada PT6A34 engines, and available on standard landing gear, straight floats, amphibious floats, skis, wheel skis, or intermediate flotation landing gear. Viking Air DHC-6 Series 400S seaplane. Viking Air 17-seat seaplane version of the Series 400 with twin floats and corrosion resistance measures for the airframe, engines and fuel system. Customer deliveries planned from early 2017. CC-138, twin-engine STOL utility transport, search and rescue aircraft for the Canadian Forces. Based on the Series 300 aircraft. UV-18A, twin-engine STOL utility transport aircraft for the U.S. Army Alaska National Guard. 6 built. It has been replaced by the C-23 Sherpa in U.S. Army service. UV-18B parachute training aircraft for the United States Air Force Academy. The United States Air Force Academy's 98th Flying Training Squadron maintains 3 UV-18s in its inventory as free-fall parachuting training aircraft, and by the Academy Parachute Team, the Wings of Blue, for year-round parachuting operations. Based on the Series 300 aircraft. UV-18C, United States Army designation for 3 Viking Air Series 400s delivered in 2013. Operators. The Twin Otter has been popular not only with bush operators as a replacement for the single-engined Havilland Canada DHC-3 Otter, but also with other civil and military customers. With over 890 aircraft built, many commuter airlines in the U.S. got the start by flying the Twin Otter in scheduled passenger operations. Notable accidents and incidents. On June 29, 1972, Air Wisconsin Flight 671, a DHC-6-100 with 8 people on board, collided in midair over Lake Winnebago near Appleton, Wisconsin, with North Central Airlines Flight 290, a Convair 580 carrying 5 people. Both aircraft crashed into the lake, killing all 13 people on board. On January 18, 1978, a Frontier Airlines DHC-6-300 crashed during a training flight in Pueblo, Colorado, killing all 3 crew members. On September 2, 1978, an Air West Airlines Twin Otter crash in Cole Harbor killed 11 people, 9 of the 11 passengers and both crew members. On July 31, 1981, Panamanian Air Force DHC-6-300 FAP-205 crashed during flight, killing all 7 people on board including President Omar Torrijos. On February 21, 1982, Pilgrim Airlines Flight 458, a DHC-6-300 operating a Schedule II commuter passenger flight, made an emergency landing on the northwest branch of the Scituate Reservoir near Providence, Rhode Island, after a fire broke out on board. 1 passenger was killed, 8 passengers had serious injuries. On March 11, 1982, Widerøe Flight 933 crashed into the Barents Sea near Gamvik, Norway, killing all 15 people on board. On June 18, 1986, Grand Canyon Airlines Flight 6, a DHC-6-300, collided with a Helitech Bell 206 helicopter, resulting in the death of all 20 people on board the DHC-6 and all 5 people on board the helicopter. On October 28, 1989, Aloha Island Air Flight 1712 crashed into a mountain on approach to Hulefua Airport at Molokai, Hawaii. The crash killed all 20 on board. On April 12, 1990, Widerøe Flight 839 crashed in the ocean outside Værøy, Norway due to wind, killing all 5 people on board. On April 22, 1992, a Paris Valley Aviation DHC-6-200 lost power at Paris Valley Airport in California, crashing from approximately 150 feet, coming to rest just next to the runway, killing 14 skydivers and 2 crew members on board. 6 skydivers survived. On the 10th of January 1995, Merpati Centauro Airlines Flight 6715, a Twin Otter 300, disappeared on a scheduled flight from Bima Airport to Satu Tasik Airport, Ruteng, Indonesia, with the loss of 4 crew and 10 passengers. It appears to have crashed in the Molo Strait in bad weather. On November 30, 1996, an ACES DHC-6-300 crashed in the Cerro El Barchino Mountains 8 kilometers from Aeropuerto Enrique Olaya Herrera in Medellin, Colombia, resulting in the death of 15 people, 2 crew and 13 passengers on the ground. On March 24, 2001, an Air Caraïbes DHC-6-300 crashed in the mountains near Gustave III Airport on Saint Barthélemy in the French West Indies, resulting in the death of 17 passengers, 2 crew and 1 person on the ground. On August 9, 2007, Air Morair Flight 1121 crashed shortly after taking off from Morair Temai Airport in French Polynesia. The plane was bound for Tahiti. All 20 occupants, including 19 passengers and 1 crew member, were killed. On May 6, 2007, French Air Force DHC-6-300,742 FRACB in support of the multinational force and observers in the Sinai Peninsula crashed, killing 1 Canadian and 8 French peacekeepers. On October 8, 2008, Yeti Airlines Flight 103, a DHC-6-300, was destroyed on landing at Lukla in Nepal. 16 passengers and 2 crew died in the incident, only the pilot survived. On August 2, 2009, Merpati Nusantara Airlines Flight 9760 crashed in Indonesia about 22 kilometers north of Oksibil. All 16 people on board were killed. On August 11, 2009, Airlines PNG Flight 4684 crashed on a mountain whilst en route from Port Moresby to Kokoda in Papua New Guinea, killing all 13 on board. On December 15, 2010, a Tara Air DHC-6-310 crashed in the Bilandu forest in Nepal. All 22 passengers and crew on board were killed. On January 20, 2011, a Twin Otter crashed in Ecuador. 6 military passengers died. On September 22, 2011, an Arctic Sun West Charters DHC-6-300 float plane crashed in Yellowknife, Northwest Territories, clipping a condominium and crashing in the street, killing 2 and injuring 7. On the 23rd of January 2013, CGKBC, a Canberra Air DHC-6 Twin Otter 300 skip plane went missing over the Queen Alexandra Range in Antarctica. On board the plane were 3 Canadians. The plane had been en route from the South Pole to Terra Nova Bay. Wreckage was found on Mount Elizabeth on the 25th. The crash was said to be unsurvivable. On the 16th of May 2013, Nepal Airlines Flight 555 from Pokhara to Jomsom left off of the runway after touching down at Jomsom and went down the slope to the Kaligandaki River. The aircraft stopped at the bank of the river, with the left wing in the water. 3 crew and 4 passengers received serious injuries, and 15 passengers received minor or no injuries. The aircraft was damaged beyond repair. On the 10th of October 2013, Masswings Flight 3002, a DHC-6-310, crashed on landing at Kudat Airport, killing 2 of 16 on board. On the 16th of February 2014, Nepal Airlines Twin Otter crashed at Dikura of Agakachi on the way to Jumla from Pokhara, killing 18 people including crew. On the 20th of September 2014, Havilland Twin Otter crashed on landing near Port Moresby, New Guinea. Of the 9 people on board, 4 were killed and 5 were injured. On the 2nd of July 2015, Trans-Maldivian Airways Twin Otter float plane carrying 11 tourists crash-landed in the water near Kurdu Island Resort in north-central Maldives at 5:30 p.m. The crash landing occurred just a couple of miles off of the hotel. 11 passengers and 3 members of crew survived unharmed. On the 24th of February 2016, a Tara Air Viking Air.The DHC-6 Series 400 Twin Otter carrying 18 passengers and 3 crew crashed after takeoff from Pokhara, Nepal, with none surviving. Search crews have found 19 bodies thus far and later updated total to 23 passengers as 2 babies were unaccounted for. Specifications. Source.